Happy Thursday and welcome to Reaping Reality TV, the channel that breaks down the real events, verify what's true, and uncover what others won't tell you. My name is Linda, and today's topic is Oklahoma judicial system, specifically the Jessie Butler's case. Now, for those of you that are not familiar with Jessie Butler, this is an 18-year-old. Now, for those of you that are not familiar with the Jessie Butler's case, Jessie Butler is an 18-year-old teen that was just charged with 2 counts attempt rape, 3 counts rape by instrumentation, 1 count sexual battery, 1 count forcible oral sodomy, 2 counts of domestic assault and battery by strangulation, and 1 count of domestic assault and battery. Just to give you a background on the case. Now, the government would love for us to believe that we live in a country where the justice system is fair and equal. However, decade after decade, that has been proven to be far from the truth. We have Jessie Butler's case out of Stillwater, Oklahoma. Now, the reason I chose to do a story on this particular case is because of my own personal incarceration in the state of Oklahoma. The state of Oklahoma is known for giving some of the harshest sentences known to the legal system. That is, if you're Black, brown, a woman, or not from a prominent family or not financially wealthy. Now, fortunately for Jessie Butler, he didn't fall into any of these categories. Not only was the color of his skin correct, he was also from a prominent wealthy family. In fact, his father was previously tied to Oklahoma State University, where he was the former director of operations for Oklahoma State University's football team, which possibly gave him leverage as his case was handled by a special judge who granted Butler the youthful offender status, Judge Susan Worthington, whom also had long-standing ties with OSU, where she earned 2 bachelor's degrees, which we're going to deep dive into that a little bit later. However, nevertheless, Butler, who was 16 and 17 at the time of the offenses, was previously denied a request to be charged as a juvenile. But during a July 24th hearing, his status was changed to youthful offender, granting him the chance for rehabilitation and a less severe punishment than what an adult would have received. Worthington, who granted Butler the youthful offender status earlier this summer in Butler's case, has faced scrutiny for her ties to OSU, which Butler's father had formerly been the director of football operations. See where I'm going with this? Prominent family ties get you what you want in this world. According to court records, a judge's August 25th sentence allowed Butler to avoid prison time for the conviction. However, having his status changed to being a youthful offender and being sentenced to probation. How and where he got probation out of these charges is truly diabolical. Nevertheless, Jessie Butler, 18, faced 78 years in prison, but the judge reduced his sentence to community service and counseling. Now, mind you, here's additional photos from his victims and what they endured during this attack that this is what they endured from his attack. But yet, this young man got probation. I have no understanding behind this. Now, I'm going to deep dive, now that you have the gist of the background of why I'm focusing on this particular case. I'm going to explain to you why this case puzzled me and really truly upset me. Now, I'm giving you background on my case. I was convicted in the state of Oklahoma for trafficking marijuana. And I was sentenced to 50 years. No prior criminal offenses, no prior criminal record. But I was convicted and sentenced to 50 years in the state of Oklahoma for a non-violent crime, trafficking marijuana, something that is predominantly statewide legal now. But however, that was 2010. So 2010, I was convicted and sentenced to 50 years, a person that had not had a criminal record. Listen to what I'm saying. I had no criminal record. I was convicted of a non-violent crime and sentenced to 50 years in prison in the state of Oklahoma. This young man had multiple violent crimes he was convicted of, and he received probation and rehabilitation. Now, mind you, there was an age differential there, and I know it was, and I'm going to get to that. But by me being convicted of a nonviolent crime and being sentenced to prison, now, mind you, I had 3 children, 3 small children. I'm not discounting my activity of what I've done. The reason why I'm attacking this is because if one person deserves a second chance, every person deserves a second chance. However, this young man was charged with multiple counts of violent crimes, and he got an opportunity that I was never given. I was never given that opportunity. And I had 3 small children that I had to leave. And I was not granted a second chance for rehabilitation or anything. This justice system is ridiculous. Ridiculous. And if we want to deep dive, because people will say, well, you were charged with trafficking marijuana. Exactly, my point. And I took them to trial. During my trial, they could not prove the weight on the marijuana. You cannot get charged with trafficking if the weight is not proven. My attorney sat there at trial, and all these facts are in black and white. My attorney sat there at trial and raised the demur based on them not knowing the factual weight on the marijuana. And the judge overruled his demur. And then on my appeal, they denied it as well. And you call this judicial system fair? Non-violent. Proven fact. They had no idea how much weight that the actual marijuana weighed. and they convicted me. That case, not only that, the boxes, the numbers on the boxes of the evidence was messed up. My attorney raised the demur on that, on the basis of them, the incorrect numbers being on the boxes. The judge overruled that too. This is where I'm going with this, people. You see where I'm going with this? But the next topic is going to blow your mind. The next topic I bring up is going to blow your mind. See, by them, and to take you back, it took me 7.5 years to get out of that prison system. I had to basically fight my way out of that prison system until finally I was granted a reduction in my sentencing. They commuted my sentence down to time served. After 7.5 years, I finally was able to leave that prison system and go into the federal prison system. That's a whole nother topic. See, really, I had double jeopardy in my case, but because it was state and it was federal, it's not considered double jeopardy. See where our legal system is flawed? Do you see where it was flawed? I was charged twice for the same crime, but because it's state and it's federal, it's not considered double jeopardy. Horrible, horrible, horrible. Nevertheless, regardless of all of that, I was railroaded every which way but loose. Even in the federal system, I was railroaded. If I tell you about my federal appeal and how I had to get my reduction there and how that judge tried to railroad me and not give me the reduction that Obama had put in place, and I had to appeal his decision in order for me to get the reduction, that's a whole nother topic. Our judicial system is totally fucked up. Seriously. But nevertheless, I don't want to forget, because I'll ramble all day. I don't want to forget, but I promised myself, I made a promise to myself when I left that prison, because I became friends with so many women in Mabel Bassett Correctional Facility in Oklahoma. I was out of a state. I was in a foreign land, but I understand God. I do understand God. Nevertheless, at Mabel Bassett Correctional Facility, there are so many women that are there in that facility with life without. These women have been there since they were 15, 16, and 17 years old. They are in there with life. Some of them are in there with life with parole and have went up for parole multiple times and still have not been granted parole. And these women are sitting in there. Not only have they sat in there and have never got a violation, they're sitting on a level 4. They're working for the prison system, not collecting pennies, slaving for the prison system. And every single time they go up for parole, they get denied. And you are going to tell me you granted this young man a second chance. And these women, some of them that have went in as youthful offenders, but got charged as adults. They were not granted the opportunity that this young man was granted because he came from a prominent family. And you want to call our judicial system in the United States fair? Let me bring this case up. I promised myself, once I had an opportunity, I would be a voice for these women that are incarcerated in Mabel Bassett. And this is the day. Now, they probably are going to come for me behind this, but I don't give a damn. If I can help one person, that's enough for me. But what I want to tell you, when you come for me, you better come correct, because before I wasn't ready. I'm ready this time, because this is not just Oklahoma. This is the entire United States. This is just the beginning of my voice, because there are some cases that's going on right now for some people that I know. I'm coming. I'm coming. This is just the beginning. This is just the beginning, because our judicial system needs to be corrected. It has to be corrected, because this is ridiculous. Nevertheless, next case to prove my point about Oklahoma and this young man getting treated because of his family background. I have a close friend of mine, Michelle Murphy. She was 17 years old when she was convicted of the crime of unaliving her 15-week-old son. Michelle sat there in prison, and this is in black and white as well. She sat there in prison for 20 years. 20 years. It took for the Innocence Project to take on her case for her to get exonerated. And the saddest part of it all is where I took some notes down because I knew it. They had no factual physical evidence to convict Michelle. They had nothing tying to Michelle to convict her of unaliving her 15-week-old son. Yet and still, they convicted her to life without parole. This girl sat there for 20 years on a crime she never committed. First of all, she was a juvenile, and they questioned her without even being authorized by her parents. And they said she confessed, which was a lie. You're not even supposed to question a minor without the parents allowing you to, which they did not have. Then on top of that, her prosecutor that prosecuted her ended up getting, I think he got disbarred or something like that, because he had a bad track record. This is where I'm going with this. Our judicial system is just convicting people just to get stripes on their sleeves. And this is ridiculous. But as long as you come from a family that has money or from a prominent background, you get, you know what I'm saying? You get a tap on the wrist. Oh, that's okay. Don't do it again. This shit is so unfair. So unfair. And if this video reaches one voice that can help one person with some relief, this is all I care about. And if this video make them come for me, then so be it. But when you come correct this time. I promise you. Because if you don't come correct, I'm coming after you. I promise you that. Nevertheless, come to find out, the Innocence Project ended up discovering that the DNA proved that the DNA was from a male. It wasn't even from a female. But this 17-year-old mother who was grieving her child's unaliving was incarcerated for 20 years for something she didn't even do. And this is the judicial system we live up under. And you guys want to say we live up, trust our legal system. Our legal system is so flawed and fucked up. And that's the best way I could put it, because I was in it. I was tied up in the mess. The mess. And that's why I reach out to the youth or the younger generation, and I try to lead and guide them in the correct way, because once you get entangled in that system, it's hard to get out of. It's hard. I sat there 7.5 years. Michelle sat there 20 years. And I can name a number of women that I am friends with today that's sitting there in Mabel Bassett Correctional Facility that have went up for parole. These women have did nothing. They are stellar inmates. And every single time they go up for parole, they get denied. And you want to say your justice system is just? I think not. And I wanted to start talking about it when I saw the president's ex spiritual advisor. He got a slap on the wrist for his sexual assault cases. And I did a video and compared him against Diddy. And I guess nobody cared because it was the Diddy case. So they're like, oh well, it does not matter. My point is, if our justice system don't stop showing favoritism, this is going to, this has been done. When is it going to stop? I don't say if. When is it going to stop showing favoritism? Never. This young man, and I pray to God that he can be rehabilitated. I pray to God he can. But what if he can't? What if he can't? Because y'all just gave him a slap on the wrist and he almost unalived one of those girls. And y'all just gave him a slap on the wrist because his father was prominent in Oklahoma. Y'all gave him a slap on the wrist though. But this guy, he did not just do this to one girl. He did it to two girls. And it ain't no telling how many other girls is out there. And the Oklahoma's in outrage because they're protesting about it. But this is the just system. This is the system that you guys are saying is just. Go look at some of the cases. I ask you, go take a look. Because I had a friend that I was locked up when I was locked up in Oklahoma. I had a friend that I helped get her sentence reduced. And thanks be to God, I was there. And thank God he gave me that gift. In her case, Charlotte Watley, she knows who she is. They had sentenced her to 45 years at 17 years old. And thank God for the gift that he gave me. I was able to get her sentence reduced down because of the technicality, the flaw, the illegal events that happened in her case when they knew damn well they should have never questioned her because she was a minor and they needed to get in contact with both parents and they never tried to track down her father. This is the type of bullshit that goes on in legal cases that I'm telling you guys that if you're sitting in prison and you don't know if you could possibly get out, every case, I guarantee you, there's a technicality in there because prosecutors don't convict. They don't even try to do their homework. All they want to do is get it. They just want to lock them up. They don't care if you're innocent or if you're guilty. But if you're guilty and you got the money or you come from the right family, you can get a slap on the wrist. You won't do a day. And this case proved that. The Jessie Butler's case proved that. But if you don't have money and your skin color is not the right color, you're in a hell of a bind, because I was one of them. I ask you, I am sending this video out as a plea to change in our judicial system, change in the parole system for the state of Oklahoma. Look into those women cases. Some of those women are sitting there. Some of those women are so old, they are barely making it in that system. They're barely making it. And Mabel Bassett Correctional Facility is no place anyone wants to stay. I I I was there. I know. That is not a place no one needs to be housed. I guarantee you, if you really go into that place, no human being should be living there. Seriously. I mean, I know there's worse places, but that place, nevertheless, those women, some of those women in there deserve justice. And our justice system deserves change. And this is why I am putting this video out, because there has to be change. Because if you feel as though Jessie Butler deserved a second chance, with all of the other youthful offenders that's sitting on life sentences now that didn't get that opportunity, they deserve that too. And that's all I'm crying out for. Thank you for taking out the time to watch this video. And whomever this video reaches, I just hope it helps. If it only helps one person, that's all I care about. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you for joining my channel. And if you enjoyed this message, I ask that you like this video, comment on this video, and subscribe to the channel, because there will be more injustice cases similar to this one. Thank you.